All right. Hey, Devin Rose here. Hope you're doing well right now. We're going to try this out. See if y'all are going to be able to get this video. Hopefully so. We're trying out sharing the screen on YouTube. I'm just here to hang out. See if anyone wanted to chat, talk about gardening, talk about the crisis, talk about stock market investing, gold, silver, crypto. Yeah, so whoever says it's having a little bit of trouble with the video, but we'll just keep giving it a shot. So one thing today, I'm a Catholic guy. Good to meet you. And this is my channel, Lionheart Catholic. The mission of Lionheart Catholic is to renew the church and transform the world by becoming saints. So that's following Christ and His church. I've got a website and app for praying novenas, which are 9-day prayers. And today's actually Mary, the Virgin of Revelation novena. This is a lesser known novena, but really cool because this man in Italy, back in I think the 1940s, Bruno, he was a Protestant guy who wanted to assassinate the Pope. So he was planning on doing that, and all of a sudden, a beautiful lady appeared to him, the Virgin of Revelation. And she said, "Quit persecuting me. Time to return to the church," and he did. So you can go to CatholicNovenaApp.com and check out that novena. It's also in the App Store, so you can just click Get the App. You can get my novena app. All right. So, one thing that we're doing during this time is we started doing some gardening, and I've been recommending that to all the people in my Lionheart Catholic membership. Something positive you can do: start growing your own food. One friend of ours even called theirs the Victory Garden, which is a throwback to World War II, I believe. But really, it makes a difference. It gives you self-sufficiency, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard to grow stuff, but it's cheap. You can get seeds, get transplants at Lowe's or Home Depot or at the garden store, and you can start growing some of your own food. Let me check this out here. Capture a highlight video. Still learning how to do some of this. um, yeah, then, investing wise, this has been such a crazy time. On Friday, you had the new jobs report, 6.6 billion new job losses on top of the 3.3 million, I should say. So 10 million total in 2 weeks, which is both of which are records. And yet the stock market ticked up. Now it ultimately kind of swung wildly and ended at a loss, I think. In the week it was down. But the fact that the market could go up for a while after absorbing the fact that 6.6 million Americans just lost their job shows there's a disconnect in the market. Really volatile time. I'm not investing in anything. I'm not buying any stocks because I honestly don't know where it could go, and I think there's a greater chance it goes down rather than up. So I'd love to hear how you're planning for that investment wise. Um, I'm in my 40s, and 10 years ago, the 0809 crash, my portfolio, my retirement lost 50% of its value. And it took till 2013 to get back up to where it was in 2007. So I'm getting more wary now. I don't have, another 30 years. I've maybe got 20 years before I'd like to retire. So I'm trying to figure out how I can hedge against a possible huge crash, which I think very well could happen. When the economy's basically stopped. One thing that we're starting to see, though, is people are starting to ask, okay, let's say we peak in May and we start to come down on the curve, right? And actually have a reduced number of daily cases and deaths here in the U.S. What's the new normal look like? How do we begin to get back to work and back to life? What's the kind of pulsing that we've got to do to keep the level of people sick from overwhelming the medical system, but at the same time getting back to work and life so that people don't lose their businesses, their jobs, and lose everything? That's going to be a really interesting question, and that could go on for the next year, year and a half, 2 years, until that immunity builds up, until we have a vaccine. So these are things that we're trying to figure out now. And by the way, you can post questions here in the chat, comments, etc. Not exactly sure how I can share this. If I click on that, where does that go? Let's try this. Jump over to Facebook real quick, see if I can share this in Facebook and say, hey, come and hang out. Hear my dog back there, she barks at everything. Let's see here. It's trying to pull stuff up. I don't know if it's succeeding or not. One thing I've been looking at is gold and silver. I've been following this guy, Mike Maloney. He's starting to make a lot of sense. And something to think about. He's actually got a free ebook. And it's really fascinating to look at some of the charts that he's got where he shows, well, we just think of like the Dow Jones and S&P is just kind of going up. Yeah, there's some dips. Well, they've been going up overall in dollar terms, but he showed the price in terms of gold. And it hasn't gone up as much in terms of gold. It's actually kind of done this, and it reached its peak, say the Dow compared with gold price in the 2000 tech bubble. Came down, and even in 07, it didn't even get up as high as it had before. Came down, then we reached about the same level, and now it's dipped again. So that's been a really interesting book where he's talked about these cycles that have happened, and everyone agreed that the market was way overbought and it's kind of just bloated stock buybacks from cheap money that businesses had. This book is a free ebook, and he's got a great series too called The Hidden Secrets of Money. And if you want to look at where we're at right now, it's episode 7. So it's a free video series. It includes a lot of the same information that you can read in a good book by G. Edward Griffin called The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is the Federal Reserve. And he talks about the creation of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, here it is, right here. It's a thick book, but fascinating. He's got just a hilarious kind of style to him, and he discusses where this thing came from and why it doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for the little guy. It works for the big guy, and that's kind of key to understanding things. This isn't for us. It bails out the rich and the banks and everything else. I'm live on YouTube. Come hang out. Let's try to fetch a preview. See if we can share that. All right. Still kind of going back through there. Who knows what the quality on this is going to be. I'll have to play with it. I think I'm going through my VPN too, so I probably should have disabled that. What I like about Mike Maloney too, his site is goldsilver.com. He's got this curated news articles here. So both his videos, he's been doing videos every day, but he also just has, what's going on with this crisis? Possible hunger crisis, demand for food bank soars, worse than the global financial crisis. Bank of America, QE versus unemployment means soaring inflation will crush the dollar. We'll see. One of the things that some people think that deflation will happen, so a drop in prices and wages, then inflation, and other people think we'll skip deflation and go right to inflation because the Fed is pumping so much money into the system. Oh, that's interesting. This is not the bottom. I want to read that. One of the things that the Fed can do is print a lot of money, but what it can't do is actually increase the velocity of money, right? I should say it can print currency. Fiat currency is not really money, but it can't actually make transactions happen, right? I give you $1 for a service, and you give it to him for a service, who gives it to that business for a service, and you need that velocity of money to have a healthy economy. And the velocity of money has largely slowed down, ground to a halt in some cases. So that's a huge issue right now. In the dollar, we do not trust ING. Sudden surge in bearishness. Well, I can't imagine why there's a surge in bearishness. Of course there is. um, so I've been reading. I've read some of these sites before, but he'll curate all the different articles. When the bulls are over anxious to catch the rocket ship higher, this isn't the bottom. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being bullish and thinking the stock market's going to go to new highs, even with the Fed printing money, with all that's going on here. Yeah, sentiment is terrible. I agree. A real bear market's different. Yeah, and bear market is there's this classic Wall Street chart of a bubble. This is a famous chart. Many of you probably seen it, and it's any bubble, whether it's stock market or Bitcoin. Yeah, here's this famous chart, and I hope I went a little bit too much. You get this huge, maybe even exponential rise, and everyone's FOMOing in right here at the top. You get the initial crash. Then you actually get what you would call a bull trap or a relief rally or a dead cat bounce, and people think, oh, we're going to go to new highs, and that's probably where we hit there in late March with this relief rally, and then it drops, and it drops more, and you're afraid to sell because now you've already lost 30%, 40%, 50%, and it drops more, and then you panic, capitulate, sell at the bottom, then you're angry. And it really does bottom. When it does bottom, there's blood in the streets, there's despair, and everyone feels terrible. And you never feel like you want to buy there because you're like, this thing could keep going lower. And this whole period, this could last for a year, 2 years, 3 years. It could last a long time. So, I think that we're here. I think a lot of people think that we're here. He's kind of talking about this situation's fundamentally different, right? The Roaring '20s and the Great Depression was just excesses of debt and leverage and risk taking. But we have a different situation. We have a huge, almost everything bubble that had grown from consumer debt and corporate debt, student loans, and state monopoly abuses. He's talking about all this here. Now, when that thing pops, well, what's going to happen, now? So we look at something like the S&P. See if this can load up. I think I'm taxing the system. This is a 6-month. Can go out for maybe just go to 5 years. Right here we had that dip, but you have this rise, right? And it's been rising for the past 10 years or so, right? After it bottomed in maybe 09, 11 years. Crash, right? Hard crash. There's that relief rally, and people saying, hey, we're going to go to new highs, and now we've already started dipping down again. Maybe we'll go to new highs. I don't think so. I don't want to bet my retirement on it. Yeah, so there's just some good lessons here to help you be ready. One thing I want to be more ready for is when things do settle down and kind of normalize, I want to take stock of what food was I lacking, right? And whenever no one's looking to get food anymore, I want to make sure I'm stocking up on necessities so that I'm ready for next time. And I'd recommend that for you too, um, so that you're not caught flat-footed again. Let's see here. Yeah, and oh, this is funny because actually this was from Bitcoin. Someone modified this chart and put Bitcoin, and they I guess overlaid the actual Bitcoin, um, levels that exactly map this. But it's the same thing too. If you look at the tech bubble of 2000, it's all, because it's psychology. It's based on human psychology, which generally stays the same. People make the same mistakes. Um, so as I mentioned, this is Lionheart Catholic. Lionheart Catholic is the mission that I'm on, and if you want to learn more about it, you can get my book. And the book you get for just the cost of printing it and shipping it to you, which is $7.95. Anywhere in the U.S. Internationally, it cost me too much to ship it, so you can get the ebook, audiobook instead. I actually was shipping it all around the world for months, and I was losing a lot of money. I intended to break even. I lost a lot of money. People ordering it from Cameroon, Kenya, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines. I was shipping this book all over. It was going into the middle of villages in Africa, believe it or not. Um, So, and then some people also after they've read the book, they want to go further and they want to join my membership program. So I actually have a membership program. I encourage you, I actually give you a very inexpensive trial of the membership if you buy my book. So buy my book and I'll offer you a trial membership. Book looks like that, for a cheap price. And this person said, she's a member. She said, I'm glad I found a legit buy the book Catholic group I can join. I read your book on how to be a saint. The book's about how to be a saint in these dark times, and they're dark. And that's the reason I'm here. And then the normal pricing's $20 a month. So I do courses or a weekly training every week. Every month we read a book together and then do a live stream. Matter of fact, where's our, book club? We've been doing book club for 3 months now. We just finished our third book. We read Christus Vinci by Bishop Athanasius Schneider. We read The Days Now Far Spent by Cardinal Sarah. Both just fantastic books. Then we just finished Time for God by Father Jacques Philippe on mental prayer. One of the secrets of the saints is mental prayer. There's The Days Now Far Spent. Just fantastic book from Cardinal Sarah. He's an African cardinal, lived through totalitarian communist regime in Guinea, and just can't recommend it enough. Similarly, Christus Vincit, Christ's Triumph Over the Darkness of the Age by Bishop Athanasius Schneider, a bishop from Kazakhstan. He grew up under totalitarian communism. Relatives of his were, shipped off to the Gulag by Stalin, and they were killed because they were landowners, they were influential people. And this is just a great book. He's very inspiring. Time for God, great book on mental prayer by Father Jacques Philippe. Very short little book. And mental prayer is something that every Lionheart Catholic I have start doing that, because that's the second level of prayer after vocal prayer. It's absolutely essential. So that's Lionheart Catholic. You just go to lionheartcatholic.com. You can get the book. You can join the membership. We also have a private Lionheart Catholic community. It's right here. Probably one of my posts is at the top, so I won't be sharing anything that. Yep, this was a training on protecting my savings during this time, and also the CARES Act that's giving stimulus to business. You can apply for $10,000. I share all that information in the membership. Oh, so I hope that you and your family are doing well. It's a difficult time for sure, but through prayer and helping each other out as best we can, even from a distance, we're going to get through this time. And God has brought families together in an unprecedented way through this. He's shown us what we really need to live on, right? That we actually don't need all of the luxuries and everything else that we've got. It's a great lesson learned and a wake-up call for us. So I'll be doing some of these live streams just to hang out. I don't know if we got anyone hanging out this time. It's a little bit hard to figure out. But it'll be posted, and I'll also give a little bit more. Probably set up a regular time to do this so people can actually expect it, so we can chat. All right.